Hello, hello. Hey, what's up, Patrick? Just testing the microphone as a tree trimmer outside doing the palm tree of the neighbor, which is awesome. Just wish he wasn't doing it right now. But anyway, got my headphones on. Hello, Emerald. I'm doing good. Patrick, doing good. Welcome to the first day of the third quarter and the second half of the year. And a lot of times these days are like press change, rearrange days for the money managers, big funds, whatnot. They're really graded on a quarterly basis. And so July 1st is kind of always a big day. It's kind of like baseball, mid-season, get your trade deadlines in, and a lot of shuffling around happens in these portfolios. So when they do that, they make waves in names for no reason sometimes. I think some of you may have even seen like rebalancing, some crazy end of day moves on Friday, rebalancing they were calling it, and also yesterday. Anyway, that's the backdrop of the market, and it still remains a strong market. If we look at my technicals, we've really pulled back to a very healthy level. If this market is indeed bullish and bullish beyond bullish, then this is where the buyers should show up, or at least make an attempt here on this 5-day moving average that I use. As you can see, when you get a lot of space in between there, you're kind of overbought. So a good healthy pullback to touch that. And by the way, it's rising. So the slope of the moving average, a rising 5-day moving average is very bullish. So that's the kind of environment you buy pullbacks in. And you want to have a reason and an area in mind to buy pullbacks. And the 5-day moving average is always kind of a good one, whether it's individual names or in stocks, indexes, that is. Curiously, look at that. The SPYs have not had the hiccup that the tech has. So if you've been long some tech stocks today, you've probably been scratching your head wondering, why the hell are they so weak? The S&P 500 is not giving back much at all. They're doing the sideways consolidation pattern, which is extremely bullish. So if we go back to tech, I was going to make a comment here about, I only use 2 indicators, right? Here's the momentum indicator, the 10 SMA, and then this is kind of the long-term bellwether, 15-minute bellwether, if you will, not long-term. But every now and then we get what's called a pinch, where you've got a declining momentum, but a rising kind of foundational, to use descriptive words, and you can get a little bouncy action like this. So the point being is, I'm just going to keep an eye on the NASDAQ here and see which way it resolves. If it resolves out of that pinch higher, then the S&P is strong and this market wants to continue. If it resolves out of this pinch that's coming up here, if it resolves lower, then I'm going to kind of just back away and just wait and see how things shape out. By the way, it's a shortened trading week, 3.5 days, which means Thursday, we're not going to be around for the midday. So, and tomorrow, for those that were hoping to kick down and find out some more updates on the money machine, he is traveling back from vacation tomorrow. So Andy will be in tomorrow, and that's going to be it for the week. I'll try and remember to make that announcement again at the end of the hour. I'm doing a few things. I'm not in crazy mode. I'll tell you what, the stock I really like is Hertz. Hertz had a giant momentum move last week. If you recall, actually, I made a lot of money thanks to Brian Shannon pointing this out to me early. Bill Ackman's group took a giant stake in Hertz, so they're going to become an activist investor. It's a giant short float. I think Hertz was being kind of left for dead. Technically speaking, this looks like the worst of it down here. And so big short squeeze pop, and it petered out at 8. 1, 2, 3 days. I took it home yesterday, right around here. I will do that all the time, you guys. I'll pick up something at the end of the day after a nice 3-day pullback and then get kind of rewarded right off the bat. So I'm playing off of this excitement and euphoria back here, but not chasing and just biding my time, waiting. And then I bought yesterday's close down here. So I really like this one. I don't know if some news is going to come out on Hertz, like, I don't know, robo taxi fleets. Maybe that's what Bill Ackman has in mind, but that's my favorite stock of the day that I'm in. Oh, and one more before I get to your question, Nadeem. You guys know I like the story of Tesla, and I just happened to not have any risk overnight in Tesla. So this morning, I watched it kind of sell off, and the minute it started to bounce, I bought some. So I'm in the money here in Tesla a little bit. We'll see how it goes for the day. It very well could just doji by the end of the day. Just a lot of back and forth. But I thought I would at least take advantage of that little overnight gift from the fake WWF, WWE, Elon and Trump PR stunt, whatever the hell they're doing. All right. Hello, you're new. Well, welcome. If you're new, I can help you out in whatever you want to look at. I can help you build a scan if you know what you're looking for. How to open this and get started. Let's see. There was a good... Okay. First off, you're at the right place for education. I will send that to you as well. There's some more videos and things, some getting started videos. It depends on what you're looking for. A lot of people, the best place where they get started is the ticker window I have up is Tesla. I'll come back to you, Raj. So for Nadeem, a good place to start would be like, if you go to new, and by the way, there's a chat GPT, you can ask a lot of questions in there and get some great answers and links. If we're not live here, this is the next best place you want to go. It's also on our homepage. The GPT is on our homepage. But if you just open up what's called here a docked channel bar, the channel bar means we've got preloaded layouts. And explosive winners is one, and then docked means it's in this container window. So everything you need is kind of within this one big giant docked window. And from there, you can kind of cruise around and look at different ideas. A lot of people like to start the day. This is a great place to start the day at pre-market. I clicked a button down here that said show more to get to pre-market. And then I'm clicking on the pre-market. What this does is it shows us everything that's been active overnight in pre-market. And then once the market opens, you've got explosive winners, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a good place to start. If you had the premium version and you're looking for the AI window, the easiest thing to do would be to open a dock channel bar and you go to the AI channel. Or just for a more simple alert window, you can just go what's called down here, the premium AI strategy trades. And this opens up something along these lines and gives shorts and longs in real time. Just joined. What's the ticker window you have on the left end? Okay, so are you talking about this one here or the tree map? This one is my liked. So when I click any one of these symbols, notice that the heart here in the chart is illuminated. I can grab something I see on the fly and heart it. DJT is also hearted. And by clicking the heart symbol, it throws it into this window called My Liked. And My Liked is just a symbol of different symbols and organized by change and color on the day. All right, there's two ways. Again, Nadeem, you can do a new docked channel bar, and go to the AI window, AI longs, a whole layout is set up for you there. It's probably the best way to do it. I would explore that. And then the simple way to do it, which I was just showing if you want a simple single window by itself, new premium strategy trades window. And there's also long term. Long term is nothing more than what's a strategy trade today could be a long term trade a week or two from now, meaning something clicked today that triggered the AI that it liked it long intraday, but the longer term chart is still trending higher. So I've got a lot of green coming through my tickers here. It seems like the market's trying to do something. If I had to guess, going back to what I was talking about, that the NASDAQ's not really bouncing too much, but I'm seeing some names. The alert window on the left bottom. Okay, so the alert window, this is a top list window with a T, and I'll show you. If I turn off tree map, it's just like the one to the left of it. And so when we take a top list window, we can right click and enhance it with a show tree map, and now we get kind of a heat map. And what this is nothing more than a bunch of shorts. All of these stocks have giant shorts, at least 20% or higher on the short float. Now the Hertz that I'm in definitely qualifies for that. At 42% short, it's up 4% on the day, so it should be right about here. Where'd it go? I knew it was on here. It's probably just barely off the bottom side. It's not up enough to be on there. It'll pop in and out if it keeps going higher. So Hertz is a short play. Now, this doesn't really mean anything other than it's organizing the stocks that have high short floats. This one in particular is the darkest green because it's up the most. So you can keep track of these during the day and maybe look for a pullback or look for a consolidation entry. There's nothing on here that tells me to buy or sell. It's just what Trade Ideas started off as and continues to be is a list of ideas that are in play to sift through all the other noise and show you what's in play right now. Do I only do underlying derivatives? I don't do options, Emerald, correct. I'm not an options guy. I don't know much about how to manage options and get the best of them. I like to play levered ETFs, like the double or triple levered ETFs. And I like to play the small cap stocks that are in play that are really moving because you can get, 10, 12, 13% moves on those in one day. There's MindMed. I bought some of this earlier. It's having a nice move. What else am I in? I showed you I'm in Hertz. I'm in Tesla. I just showed you MindMed as a new position from this morning. I've been eyeballing Kodak, and something told me that, remember what I was saying, guys? Today's the first day of the new quarter. Seems like this is a perfect opportunity for somebody to maybe come in and establish a position in Kodak. So I'm going to try and ride that. I think it's going to be a wonderful manufacturing USA story. It's just one headline away from having a good move, I think. And then DJT, I just couldn't resist it down here. I bought some yesterday. I think, speaking of headlines, the stock has been buying back stock. It's been doing things, and there's a lot of speculation of how much naked shorting may be going on in certain stocks like Game, which I also bought a little bit of. So I'm kind of playing that naked short, guess when the headline's going to come game. Total prediction, total speculation. But at any moment, the SEC under the new administration could come out and say, hey, you know what? We're gonna look into naked shorting. What do you think is going to happen if that headline comes out? Well, stocks like DJT, Game, they're probably going to explode because if there is any naked shorts in there, they're going to be running for the hills. I like to do high volume, short-term trades for my list of fundamental shares. How do I do that? You could go back to the Explosive Winners channel. There's Explosive Winners on there. I mean, I'll give you this one right here. These are stocks that are exploding right now with good short squeeze volume. And let me show you how I can share something with you. So I right clicked and I'm saying, share this scan with everybody. All right. So anybody that's new, what you can do is right click on that link and do the copy link address on the menu. So right click over the link, copy link address. And by doing so, once you come back to your load from cloud here at Trade Ideas, you're loading what's on your clipboard and it'll populate right there. It should. Okay, paste if it doesn't. Then load. And then you're loading an exact replica of what I've got. And again, this is nothing more of stocks that are in play, but they're in play because of short squeezes. And there's likely going to be some volume there to cover as well. Well, speaking of short squeezes, look at DJT. Just go to highs as I speak. See, I'll keep watching these two as a pair, GameStop and DJT, just because of that short squeeze conspiracy theory I have. All right, developer to Trade Ideas have built-in alert window like Zendu on YouTube or Stocks Rocks. We have to build it. So you can build pretty much anything and you can back into anything, hopefully, that you want that we have. And how do you know what we have? Well, I'm just going to go to our configure window for anything you build. In the configure window, we've got search. I recommend if you're into something like, do they have Bollinger Bands? Well, drill down using the search term to tell it whether we have it or not. And if we do, then we can back into it. If you want to see what's pre-built, then what I was showing a moment ago is the new docked channel bar. What that does is it gives us a container window. And if you subscribe to the AI, you can monitor the AI trades long from there. We've got some specialty channels. We've got show more button is very important to show more. And then what that does is it allows me to click on pre-market, which is always a good one. Now I want to show something for newer traders. Again, these are all theme-based, pre-made for the person developer who is asking, do I have to make anything? You can make your own things. You can just use a channel layout. You can receive and use something that I'm handing out, like I was showing earlier. This over here is just kind of, some people call it a worm. It's just a new high versus new lows. So it's giving me kind of a market pulse. But here's something I wanted to show new traders. This FX button here on our charts has something called Trade Wave. And this is a simple way, we're just using a predefined EMA crossover, a fast and a slow. And the colors change to blue and orange. But more importantly, it gives newer traders tags, a buy and a sell tag. So I told you I like this DJT. And what I love about it right now is it's closing and trading above my 5-day moving average, where before it was rejected, right? Rejection. Now all of a sudden we're up here in happy space. Well, back here, this B is calculated for you. So again, this is why I say for newer traders, you don't know how to read charts as well. You'll get better at it. I don't use it because I kind of know what I'm looking for. But if I was a newer trader, I would be embracing the Trade Wave technology all day long, no matter what time frame I'm using. So as you see, the 15-minute time frame is a go. But I bet if I change to a daily time frame, it might not be a go. You see, it's still very heavily under the sell orange color. We need probably one more day of confirmation. But once we get this double moving average crossover, you'll see a B in the daily. So we don't really have confirmation of time frame on that trade, but I just want to remind new users and more importantly, new traders, that this is an excellent tool that is not talked about enough here. People get caught up in the AI, but this is essentially an AI that you can pull up anything you want. Kodak, is this a buy? Well, it sure is. Just click the zoom button to reset it. And this gave an early indication. Look at that 15-minute bar gave an early indication in the Kodak. So for those that missed this, again, FX button right there on our new charts, toggle on and off the trade wave, and you can have some settings as well. I don't recommend, the settings are pretty good as is. I don't recommend playing with them too much, but I'm going to turn that off. Highly, highly underrated tool that we have here that should be utilized more. I'm not familiar with Zendu. Obviously, I'm partial to Trade Ideas. That's all I've ever used. Let's see what the trade wave says about GameStop. Flicker the zoom. Oh, we got an early buy tag down here 2 buy tags ago. It could be interesting. I don't know. There's not much other than just the hint of wanting the shorts to be squeezed out of this thing. It's a pretty solid company now. It's got $6 billion in cash, a lot of cash, hardly any debt. So I'm not exactly endorsing it. I'm just saying I don't mind parking myself in it a little bit. It would have been a disaster if you'd been long back here when they did what they did, I guess. Just like Tesla, I took advantage of the disaster overnight in Tesla to buy some on the plunge down on the open, but still not even close to a buy tag on the intraday trade wave. Yeah, Develop 3. It's so underrated. People got to use it. If you haven't seen it, turn it on and try it, and match it up to different time frames. That's the key. If you can get a good time frame daily and intraday, it'll just help focus. Okay, I'll bring up a Holly trade. The only exit price it's going to show is the stop loss. Let me bring that up. And again, it looks like it's defaulted to any profitable. Make sure you can turn that off. So there's other trades on there as well. If you don't want to see those, you can just go back to show me the good ones that are working. So when I click into these, let's start with a long Vivos. And now what I need to do, that's a beautiful chart, actually. Look at how it's holding my 10 SMA. So you've got AI technology versus what I use, the 10 SMA, just confirming. And by the way, here was the buy, which is a pretty good buy tag, in my opinion. It waited all day long, and it bought as close as it could to the 10 SMA. So there's your buy tag. But I need to add something here. I think I need to right-click in properties. I need to show. Let's see why. Hang on a second. I haven't used this in a while. Try something here. Hang on a second. Some executions. What am I missing here? Put the browser interface back on. Why? I thought that we would have, hang on a second, columns, stop price. Okay, I want to move that over. Stop price. Evos. Stop price is 355, which is right there. But how am I not seeing that? What am I missing? Again, we don't have the targets, but Show orders. You're not showing it on the chart anymore, Pepe or Chris? The AI. No, I'm confusing myself. Hang on a second. Okay. Yeah, there's something going on with it. So what I did to the user, I right clicked and I went to columns and I made sure to add stop price. And so stop price in this Vivos is 355, and I've manually added it, which is the bottom of that candle right there. This is a good trade as it's working. Actually, it's a great example of, what I like to look at. You got great volume. It's holding the moving average, and you want to buy like the AI did as close as it can to the moving average. But I'll bring it up again today. Yeah, I think the AI trades. There's something about the new charts, and that's why I turned off browser charts. Look at that right there. So that's the workaround, which is sad because what I did is I turned off browser charts, and as you can see, that level lines up right there with the stop price, that little shaded red area. So it's kind of, pick what you want. Do you want the browser charts, which allows you, that brings me to develop. If you can't find the FX on here, number one, you must be on browser interface. But number two, you want to have at least our latest version running. So if you're running an older legacy version and you don't see that, that's probably going to be why. But I would recommend highly for sure to get on there. I'll bring it up again in the developers meeting right after this session, try and find out what's going on with that. But that's the workaround that I recall, which is kind of a bummer of a workaround because you're turning off the browser interface to make that work. When in reality, you can do what I did, just have that column visible for stop price and then use your own right click, create a price alert at that stop price. Now, if I was long this thing right now, it's 388, 416, I'd be offering out some, just take out that prior high candle and you're probably going to find some resistance. So we don't have targets in here anymore, but we have the entry and the suggested stop price. New version that's coming out will have more of that type of control. The older version was kind of throttled and collared back. The targets were taken away. They were they were subjective. A lot of people took targets early. A lot of people took targets late. So we've defaulted to just giving the stop loss. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Oklo. I don't know about Oklo. I have SMR and Oklo. They're scaring me. Unless this is the big head fake day. These nano nukes have run so far so fast. Today could be it. I mean, today it's a broadening. It's a perfect example of like a broadening cone that's showing volatile but strong movement, widening. So these are up, 200% in some cases. So there's nano nukes. Yeah, for the developer, for the beta, that'll have it. And then you just want to make sure that you're on browser charts. It should default to browser charts. And then right there, the FX will get you to the trade wave. Again, I can't recommend that enough for new traders. Can you change the columns in a multi-strat? They're very limited. Let me load one from the cloud. I know this is a multi-strat. So properties, columns, that this is what you're limited to. So if you didn't get this far, if you didn't catch the properties menu, Jason, you can go properties, submenu, columns, and then you've got all these options over here that you can add or delete. But what happens is with the multi-strategy window, like one size fits all, because as you know, we have the main menu, which is the strategies menu. And so there's really nothing you can do for columns as an individual strategy. So everything kind of has to work together in unison. Yep, good. I figured that might be it. They hide that particular one under properties sometimes. When in doubt, go to properties for the chart and for anything else. All right, I think I'm caught up, everybody. If you missed me, I bought Hertz yesterday, and again, I want to explain. There's a lot going into this. I remember last week watching Hertz guide. Just wow, I was watching it. Let's pull it back here. Look at that. I mean, just a strong. Not a, never broke the momentum line. I was a observer, and then I watched it again. And then ooh, I saw that big spike. And then on this day, I said, okay, mental note to self. That's a reversal candle. Let's give it a couple days. It might want to just gravitate right back down into this 50 and this 10 SMA on the daily. And if it does, I want to participate. So I set a price alert. It wasn't this one, it was probably more something like that. And when that price alert triggered yesterday, by the end of the day, I bought it and I took it home. And I'll do that all the time. And so the lesson being that me as a swing trader, I'm not chasing intraday momentum. I was observing it back here, making mental notes. And that's when, these stocks start to wind up on my watch list. And I'm actually going to make a video later today. It's a really important video because a lot of my ideas are not new ideas that pop up off of a scan just because of a setting I have. They're basically stocks that I'm familiar with and I know, and I trade off and I trade around. Those nano nukes being one of them, David, or who was Patrick. But I'm starting to lose a little interest in those. But the point being is, some of the best trades I've had lately, if it's on this list, it's in my wheelhouse. If it's on this list, I'm ready to trade around, ready to buy pullbacks of strong stocks. And so look down here, we've got all these quant stocks that are pulling back. Well, if I was looking for something that was really interesting, I'm going to be fishing down here in the red. And if something's up here in the green, I'm going to be hoping that I'm already in it and looking for a place to sell it. And that keeps me on the contrarian side of things, which is what you want to be doing as a trader. Excellent. You got FX after uploading. All right, let me show you one more level, develop 3 and anybody else, of how to use that. There's a little report that you can kind of play with. So let's pull up TradeWave, and you'll notice we've got this thing here called a TradeWave report. Well, it's looking at the short side of things. I can say, well, what about the long side? But by the way, the short side, and it's only pulling 2 trades because those are the 2 that are visible inside my Zoom. If there's any longs in there, one of them's open. So there was a long, but it was quickly stopped out. So there's all, what I'm getting at is there's kind of a little built-in, click that to turn it off, a little built-in back test here, stock specific. So I could, go back to an even longer time period maybe and look at that trade wave report. I don't think it's got anything longer. Let me see. I might need to open it. I might need to really open it up like that. Okay, there's also settings. Another important one for you here. Develop these 3 dots. Okay, there's some settings in here. You can use your default size on your TradeWave little report that I was showing you. So you can play around with those as well. If we go to daily, go back longer, but I guess it's not going back longer. but experiment with the time frames. Again, ideally, you're finding something that is lining up both on the 15 or 30, whatever you prefer to use. I like the 15 because I can use this blue line, which is the 5-day moving average, and you can see why I use it. All I had to do is bring up Hertz. Let's turn off Trade Wave because this is a cleaner way for me to demonstrate it, but this is why I use this moving average. What is it's 130 SMA, and if you divide 5 trading days by 15 minutes, you get 130. So therefore, you get the smoothed out, very easy to see line, which is a significant simple moving average of 5 days, which is like a super momentum. If 10 is the momentum, then 5 is like, really strong. So for me, when I look at it on a 15-minute chart, it's kind of it's definitely an area of interest, but it's my general bill of health. And it's also where I expect things to happen. It's where I expect buyers to show up. Now, when I bought this Hertz, I looked up and this was a ceiling above my current price. And so I fully expected sellers to show up. You're not on the web version, Jason, you're on the downloadable Windows version. You should have browser interface selected. Okay, if your charts are too small, notice how it goes away. Open your charts a little bit. Open your charts, expand them. And assuming you're on the Windows version, and the expansion maybe will bring that button in. But look, again, technically speaking, trader talk here, this is why I use the 5-day moving average, because everything is happening exactly as I expect it to. Awesome, Jason. I hope that worked. So now I can just sit and wait and go, there's nothing to do. There's no reason to panic. This is just day one. Ideally, I'm going to sit in this thing and flip to the sell side tomorrow. That's my day and a half schedule, my day and a half method. So right now I'm just watching and expecting this pinch play, which is developing. I'm hoping and expecting that it resolves and pushes through there. But I mean, look at how this acts as just a pivot. It's like a rolling, moving pivot. It's always telling me where I can expect areas of interest, areas of buyers, areas of sellers, support, resistance, what have you. So that's why I use that. And then the 10 SMA tells me what's in motion. Again, if we go back to Hertz back here, that was some serious momentum. It was a full day and a half of momentum. Boom. Perfect pullback buy. Perfect pullback buy. Perfect. And then my rule of thumb is, how do I get out of these trades? Well, you sit. And then the very first trade candle that closes below, which is that one right about there, the closing candle that finally gives up this rising momentum line, that's your out. Oh, we didn't even discuss this. Look at this beautiful support where it launched off of. So 2 lines, that's all I need for my time frame. 15 minutes serves me just fine. I forget sometimes on my daily, I can go over here and of course look at the bigger pictures. Big monthly candle, and I can see, wow, Hertz has really fallen from grace, hasn't it? If I don't want to use a single stock window here, I can pull this drop down chevron and bring in some default data. This works good on laptops. It helps people save some space. So I've got this thing all clustered and messed up now. Notice this arrow. I can just go click and set it back to a nice view, custom view, zoom back in. And that's about my liking right there. What I needed to see from Tesla, and I got it so far, is a reclamation of their declining 10 SMA. So as I told you, This is the momentum line. And if the stock was truly, truly weak and wanted to go lower, that touch point right there would have thrown the price back to lows. I didn't get that. So in this case, the area of interest was the price coming up to meet a downwardly ascending momentum 10 SMA. And now I've got 1, 2, 3. We're working on the fourth closing candle. So again, there you see, I'm using the word closing candle. It can wick back and forth all at once, but on my 15-minute time frame, what helps me move from one decision to the next and move throughout the trade are the closing candles on the correct side of the moving average that I need to see. It's that simple. So we talked this morning, a little earlier, about this pinch play that was developing here in the NASDAQ, and it looks like it's slowly trying to resolve. It's picking on the upper side of that band. S&Ps just won't give anybody a pullback, so the real strength is not in tech today, but energy, finance, the broader 500 index. And for the first day of the new quarter, it's holding up pretty well. See, I'll use this little, I got 15-minute high, 30-minute high, 15-minute low, new high, new low, just to kind of tickle me and just kind of keep kicking me and reminding me what's moving. These are pretty much stocks that are on this list over here, but I can kind of keep tabs of them with that little running ticker. So, Jason, once you get everything set up and you're kind of happy with the way it looks, what I recommend to avoid the first pitfall of most new users is exiting without saving. It's important that you save your layout to your local machine there like this, the default layout. And then tomorrow, or tonight, whenever you open it back up, everything is right there where you left it. It's a real pain. We all know you make all these changes and then you forget to save your layout. Luckily, we do have an auto backup system that'll do it for you, but it's just a good habit to get into. And then, of course, let's say maybe you wanted to move your stuff onto a laptop or whatever. You can take your entire layout and you can save it. Where's the trade wave? Okay, so it's under the FX, right? If you click FX, the bottom one should have it. And then to finish my thought, you can also save your whole layout to the cloud if you want to open on another computer somewhere else. That's convenient. Good. I'm glad it's working. See, guys, this is why we do the live session. Jason's saving himself a lot of time and learning curve by just, taking the time to ask some questions, not being shy, come in, get yourself kind of get the wheels rolling a little bit. We can't do phone support. This is all visual, see, I've got to show you where to click on things and how to do things. And so we make these available every day that the market's open. However, Thursday is a half day. We're not going to be open this Thursday, but definitely this is what these hours are designed for. I don't mind rambling about my trading. Some people like listening to that, but anytime somebody's a new user and comes in and needs help, that's why we do this 1 hour live support, is to just get you guys going in a quick direction. And then come back. You'll probably create some more questions tonight and then come back tomorrow. So here, the CRDF, never heard of it. It's got 29% short. Okay, it just popped. As a new trader, do I feel like I have to jump in up here? No, it's the worst thing you can do as a new trader. What I would do is I would just kind of watch this line and let it develop. If you get some sort of an opportunity to trade off that line, that's an idea that can come to play. Emerald, you're welcome. Yeah, definitely nobody be shy if you're a new trader. This live support session is for you guys and girls. And we can go in any direction. And the people that don't ask questions that just lurk in the background, they're going to learn something too. But yeah, it's working well. Um, I bought this one earlier, as I mentioned, and it has reclaimed the 5-day moving average. I'm trying to configure email alerts for Gapper scanners. It's configured as a top list, but I'm converting. Well, two things. Yeah, you need to convert it to an alert window, but the email alerts and the SMS alerts, I don't really endorse them. You're welcome to try. Chris is pretty good at figuring out how to schedule them. Alert window will work it also in pre-market. So two questions in one, but we can answer both at the same time. If we go to top list, you don't want that. We want the new alert window. So we're going to go alert window because we need an event. And so let's just start from scratch. You mentioned stocks that are gapping. So first and foremost, if we add a gap filter and say we want minimum, say 10% gap, you can always change that. Maybe minimum, $2 price, you can always change that. In pre-market, it's good to have at least, you can't use relative volume pre-market, but what you can use is volume today. So we can do 100,000 shares. And then here's what we're going to do. Perfect timing. What type of alert do I need to set? Select alerts. Pre-market, high. Add alert. You can set that. And you can also set new high. So you could actually double use this alert. So it'll show up in the pre-market and the regular market because you're using both new high for regular and pre-market. And if you wanted to really get it active and busy, you could say like new 5-minute high or new 15-minute high. And then from there, during the day and the pre-market, you're only going to see things that are making new highs that have done at least 100,000 shares and have gapped up at least 10%. We can make that 5 if you want, but I'll leave it at 10. And then we call gap high. There's the name of our strategy. Now we've named it. And we're live now. So this one, BMNR, gapped up at least 10%, and it's making a new high in regular market. So let me do this for you. Let me copy the cloud and share it with you so you can use it as a starting point. Gani, on your short squeeze list, can you tell what's moving in pre-market by using volume today percent? No, relative volume and percent volumes are not going to work pre-market because there's just not a good baseline that we can work with. There's so much inactivity and then bursts of noise and inactivity that it just doesn't really give good baseline readings for relative volume scans. So we're just kind of stuck with, that's why we use just, if something's doing 100,000 shares in pre-market, it's probably doing okay. But if we don't have that, we're going to get a lot of noise. There's going to be a lot of new pre-market highs and lows, but you pull it up and it's only done 800 shares. We don't want to see those. I see my P&L Tesla is still hanging in there. So this is nice visually for me. This unknown was challenged and now it's flat. So now it's a flat and it's going to start to curl up and hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, Tesla continues to hold a bid for the remainder of the day. And I was able to grab this on sale because of the silly overnight WWE news. All right, I'll be here another 7 minutes or so. Then I'm going to head off to that developers meeting. Here's your Oak Glow, Patrick. Again, The thing that concerns me about them is they've run so far, and now that they couldn't hold their 10-day, which means the momentum broke. This day right here, they tried to hold the backstop. Perfect textbook 20-day SMA. Buy the 20-day SMA and hope for a bounce. Very short-lived bounce, and now it's rolling over, and it's in the armpit. If you're laughing, you should, because it's a good joke. Once the price just is underneath the armpit here, everything just stinks. It's just gross. Don't want to be under there. I want to be above it. I want to have seen that bounce. I wanted to see this day bounce. Otherwise, they're all slowly dying on the vine. And that kind of goes for all three of the nano nukes. So in my mind, that's becoming kind of a rusty old sector that might have to be put on the shelf for a little while. And we'll see how the quant stocks go too. They had a really good moment in the sun, but INOQ is our trade of the week, but it kind of can't get out of its own way there. Somebody was Rigetti. They're still poised. They still could be set up for a huge day. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a price alert right there at 12 on Rigetti. And if it triggers, well, there's probably no reason why I might not want to try to play this. There's a lot of clean air there that might be able to break through, but there's been a lot of these too. So if I play a quant stock, if something triggers it in my mind, I might have to say day trade, Steve, or take most of it off early. Yeah, see, Patrick's got the right, he's not getting married to it, maybe play an oversold intraday bounce. Kind of like I was just saying with the quant stocks, if they do trigger, they are poised. That Rigetti could go, that INOQ could still go, follow through, but they certainly seem like 3 steps forward, 2.5 steps back. How's that Hertz doing? I need that to hang on here. So it's bouncing back and forth between my pinch play here. Default over to the daily. And the daily has a nice little green candle after 3 days of pullback. Midday. Yes, I'd like to see this level hold. So we're now at a level of interest for me. And this is really textbook. You don't really come through and cut through that like butter, like a hot knife through old butter. Yet you need a little bit of back and forth. That's what strengthens it. So with that said, I kind of need to see this little area hold right here, and maybe this next attempt going into the close, the second half of the day, maybe that'll be the one. New 15-minute high in Tesla. It's holding up well. I'm also maintaining, here's another bigger picture, guys, the TLT, but the IEF is kind of like the mortgage, the 10-year mortgage. It fell back today, but it's been climbing coming into today. And so rates are up a little bit today. But look at how they broke out. The price broke out, and this could continue to trend higher. If the price of the IEF ETF here trends higher, all that's going to mean is more headlines of mortgage rates coming down, interest rates coming down. The Fed is behind the curve, bring them down, that kind of stuff. Groupon is another one of those I love because it's got such a giant short float, but look how far it's ran. It's up 400%. At what point does it stop trending? So I'm a little hesitant. And look how yesterday, the last 3 days, it has not held the backstop. Speaking of, like I was just talking about, big reversal candle here. Whenever you guys see a big candle like that after a long uptrend, just stay away. And if you want to short it, go ahead. But that's like a warning sign. And it held true. So that should have held, but it didn't. That should have held, but it hasn't. maybe it'll make a move right here, but once something's up 400% that quickly, it gets really hard, exponentially hard to find the greater fool theory, who's going to come along and buy it at a higher price. Last week I was into the drone stocks, but they just didn't materialize. UAVS cost me some money being stubborn in this thing, never did anything for me. So I've given up on those. All right, guys, looks like I'm going to have to run here. Got 5 minutes till. So no Dan tomorrow. Thanks for the reminder, Steve. If you're looking to hear Dan tomorrow, he's going to be traveling back. So you'll have Andy tomorrow. And then the last PSA is Thursday is a half day trading. Friday is a holiday, as you know. So there will be no live session on Thursday, but Andy will be in here tomorrow. For anybody that's new, you guys come on by tomorrow, and I'm sure you're going to generate some questions overnight. Bring them with you tomorrow, and come back and you get some more help. All right. With that said, thanks, and I'll see you guys next week.